Hey guys, welcome back. You're back. We love people that are back. You're returning. That's awesome. He's Commander Cockings.
I'm a commander in Starfleet. I'm back. Welcome. He's Adam Foley.
You are a commander, and you didn't once betray your captain or your command or your uniform. So I understand you being a commander. Anyway.
Thank you. I'm back. 3 pips.
Yay.
Even the right delta. Look, it's the future
Oh.
delta. Well, yes, Stuart. Did you notice this small detail in episode 5? You might have missed it. That the TNG legacy character Laren reappeared, replayed by the same actress, obviously, who's also in BSG. You'll remember from more modern stuff. Did you notice she's back, Stuart?
I did.
She's quite
an interesting. Yeah,
it's kind of about her,
it's quite an
maybe.
interesting character for me personally because I never liked the character. So when I started back, I was like, oh. And then I remembered why I didn't like the character originally. I was like, oh.
Which shows that she recaptured it, if therefore that's part of it.
Yeah. But she more than made up for it, and so did the writers, writing a really poignant story with her and made me feel something at the end. So kudos to them. I know you like her as Admiral Kane, at least, from BSG. So a lot of people have been saying they wanted to see the return of Ro, at some point. Heard that a lot online.
I remember you said 2 weeks ago that you told us Hero return. I remember you explicitly.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I don't like a character, I don't want to see them return.
Yeah.
So.
Especially if there's only so many slots, potentially. And everyone's a blessing, really. But, they could be given to someone else. Yeah, I mean, Ro's a weird one because she came in TNG really, not necessarily strong as a strong character, but a strong impact, right? And then kind of fizzled out a bit in terms of they didn't quite know what to do with them. Because, it wasn't a serialized show. They couldn't have a season arc at the time with the new characters. It's an interesting sort of case study of before its time sort of storytelling. And then they were maybe going to, put on DS9, Kieran Reese is just Laren. She didn't want to come back for that and be a series regular, etc. Which is doubly interesting. She left the show at a point in a off to go do this, betray Starfleet, pull a phase on Riker, a pretty bold stance for that sort of show. And then we hear nothing of her for 30-something years. And boy, do they go hard on dressing it. This isn't just a cameo, it's not just a reference, it is a storyline which is shockingly relevant in that Terry Mentalis, who didn't write it, but obviously this is the team over there, but he led it. The character arc of Ro fits in well, really well. The idea of trust, loyalty, doing the right thing, even if it goes at the wrong reasons. These are all things that entirely parallel. And the idea that she'll go above and beyond, again, the right, to do the right stuff, intelligence, and etc. Plus, imagine her and Worf, would rebond quite well. Ah, yes, I see the honour in your decision. Now, I'll take orders from you as a handler. It's shocking. I don't think I could have written such an elegant piece without... he had an idea there, and it worked really well.
Yeah, they definitely delved into it. And it's good because the series is called Picard, and that was a very important part of Picard's
at least season
life, I think.
5 or 4 or whatever.
Well, no, I think it was a very important one in his life because somebody that he wanted to and thought he was a mentor to just betrayed him, and that was such a slap in the face to him that he couldn't get over it. I think it goes right back to the Jack thing. Jack didn't want any part of. Once he found out who I was, he didn't want to see me. Well, he was very pissed off with Jack when that first happened. Then we got the explanation as to what actually happened. So they're hitting all the Picard points. So this one was actually a natural fit to come back. I just never really thought about that before. So I'm glad she's back. It definitely is good for the overall character to know this is her character arc. This is where she goes. She sacrifices herself. As you pointed out, she kind of hit the nacelle before the bomb went off, I think.
Yep.
To prevent the larger explosion.
Yep.
So that's amazing. All of that combined is just well done. So.
And it's so believable. The acting was not the extremely long drawn out monologues of emotion. She sold it with few words, with real conviction. I mean, the actress obviously plays strong characters to the point of being annoying, very in a good way. That's kind of one of her niches. Even the character she played in TNG the first time, the daughter, she was fighting against the storyline and she was very bold with it. She's very good at that. And obviously Kane, she's amazing. So yeah, to see her to sacrifice herself in such a meaningful way in such a small amount of time, because as we said in another review, she's had complete control of the shuttle. They basically gave her a choice with the bomb. The choice being, do you die? Do you blow up the Intrepid? Do you blow up the Titan? What do you do? Because you can't remove it, and you can't be beamed out. You make the choice of how you're going to die here, Commander. And, she could have gone back to the Titan. They tried to rescue her in the last minute, maybe damage the ship. The Changelings win. Instead, she just did it. In under a minute, she decided to sacrifice herself, and in a way that doesn't actually hurt the ship in a giant way. Strong. And I'm very glad, because I know some people who've seen it were saying, don't be spoiled for this episode, because we are the only people in history, Stuart, who will see it without any knowledge. Because once you know Ro comes back and, you wait for her. Oh, there she is. But we had no idea. Boom, to see her walk up, be like, holy... Oh, hello. Where is this going? And is she a villain? Is she... Because she could have played the villain. She's such a flexible character that she could have been secret intelligence, she could have been a secret spy, she could have been a Changeling, she could have been the Changeling. All of that could have worked, genuinely. So it's a very smart choice. I'm glad we didn't get spoiled.
Oh yeah, they definitely did a good reveal too. Like I assumed she was a shapeshifter. Calls out the earring, he calls out all that stuff. I assume she took the earring off just before she beamed over though, because she does hand it to him at the end. And it is something that did mean a lot to her, obviously. That's what he was kind of drilling down on. And she was like, yeah, I understand. Here you go. And that's where all the information was as well. So that was a nice little literal handoff of the relative data. And good for an operative, I think, to be able to store something like that. It's both good and bad, honestly. Because you have it with you available anytime if you need it, and also if you get captured, it's there. Yeah. So there's a problem there, but...
Well, and especially as you aren't necessarily meant to still, quote-unquote, wear the jewelry of religious faith, etc. Although, obviously, that's the one that's real, because there are life forms in the wormhole, whichever. But you can imagine that if she was still not necessarily allowed to, or it's frowned upon, whatever. I mean, the guy on the bridge does, so it's a different version. But, if that's still in force, you could still justify her having it all times to keep it with her, the faith, so therefore no officer will question that. If it was on her, you might question it. If it's not on her, you might question it. But if it's on a person, okay. She doesn't have to wear it, but at least she has it. Yeah. I was picturing such a USB stick when they had it, when they put it on the table. I was thinking, she USB'd her earring. It just felt like such a USB moment. Like I said, it's very solid and genuinely a gut punch. And Picard realizing how much she mattered to him, and given we pretty much saw the entire story arc, they didn't allude to anything that we didn't see, which I thought was an interesting touch. Everything they mentioned we saw, so we as the audience relate to directly. They could have thrown in missions we didn't see. They could, that time we got lost on Cedric 4 and you fought the caves. No, what we saw was the adventure. And triply interesting, given season 1 and 2 of him being played for not necessarily a butt of the joke, but a weaker character, to play so much into this character of Picard roaring back into emotion about a grudge from 30 years ago, which is the definition of who he used to be, and he plays it as a strong man again, right there in the moment, that brought such emotion. Boy, powerful stuff, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very well done, very well handled, very well written, very well acted. Thank you to everybody involved, because this is like the things that we, I think, need in our Star Trek. The one thing that bothered me a little bit was the whole, I came back, got court-martialed, and then, went through rehabilitation and joined Starfleet again. They must have kept that very hush-hush, because generally you hear Starfleet officers kind of chatting about the news that's circulating around. It's hard to keep secrets. You'd think that trial would be kind of a big deal, especially for Picard. You might have his ear to the ground as an admiral. But anyway, that kind of threw me off a tad. So I don't know about her rejoining and being good commander. All that being said, she has Starfleet intelligence, so there could have been something going on there. I don't know. And
also, there's a huge timeline-ness of, the Maquis got entirely wiped out at a certain point. So she had to give herself in before the genocide of the Maquis. And then watch who's been in prison for 9 years and skipped the entire Dominion War, got to the point of Picard now being an admiral, and then he's probably too big and important to notice, as in he was dealing with the Romulan evacuation.
I doubt that though, because his Bajoran. He said to her about betrayal and Bajoran, and he's like, I've been practicing this for a long time because I.
Oh yeah.
He wanted to talk to her at some point. So
I get it for sure, but if he's dealing, maybe she came out during the Romulan evacuation, he's got daily giant things, and then he fires himself, and then he returns to his vineyard where he's out of thing. I'm just saying you could easily timeline it so that she just came back a few years ago. Because she had she has enough skills clearly to raise ranks quite highly. I wouldn't worry about that. Especially stuff with intelligence, you're forced to do big, bold things. Therefore, promotions come quicker. I didn't get the sense it was, she was in prison for a year. I got the sense they really kind of like stowed her away in deadlock. And then when they really needed her, they're like, this asset we threw away 7 years ago, let's get her back out. But it could be anything. I'm just saying they leave it wonderfully open. But there is a hard stop as when she left the Marquis, because there was no Marquis after that.
What did you think about the return of Laren? Was it impactful for you? Was it something you expected? Was it a surprise? We want to hear your thoughts. Comment down below. Have a good conversation with us and others down there. Or join our lives where you can talk to us in real time and bring up your concerns, questions, comments, whatever, with us, on an actual live where other people can interact with your ideas. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and join us. And anytime you're able to, because we're here all the time.
Be our Starfleet intelligence on our lives and super chat your thoughts. Be the secret knowledge that we can use to save the Federation on any of our lives, all throughout the week. Support any way you can, or join the channel monthly on Patreon. Go search Patreon, you'll get what it is very quickly, or join the channel on YouTube. How'd you find that, Stuart? You find the join button and follow the instructions, and you'll be part of the fleet. We love our fleet. It does all the good to help this channel continue releasing free content for you every single week and often every single day. My goodness. So thanks in advance, guys. And you'll see us next time.
That's right. So until then, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.